Good evening, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are continuing on your conquest this early morning, late evening. I'm going to try to get one done here for tomorrow. This is kind of close to late at night, almost on a bridging between night and day. So we are going to talk about, I think it's going to be April 20th tomorrow, Thursday. So let me do some shout outs first before we get to the business and topic at hand. Moy Hernandez, thank you, Moy. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Warrior. I appreciate the nice compliments. Thekkan Thekkan V 2.0, thank you, my friend. Al Z, thank you. Giodude 92, thank you. TK 2112, Junior. Michael Moniker, Thomas Fahy twice, thank you, Thomas. Nard 1992. Transmuting is not easy, but it can be done. And we got to continue working on that. Never give up. Andy, Alvin 2, thank you, my friend. BJ, Unknown Nihilistic, thank you, my friend. From Saudi Arabia, welcome. Israel Yuda, thank you again. OG Sanya, Mark G. Connors, thank you. I like the comment, and he had a nice quote, by the way. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The best time is now, of course, to start. So, of course, that applies to semen retention as well. So, thank you, guys. I'm going to catch up with the ones later after that. We'll do that starting tomorrow, I believe. So, all right. So, at 1:47, 2 minutes, let's go ahead and talk about the next topic. And this one this is from Diante White. So, Dante, thank you. Shout out to you, my friend. Martial arts, control, and semen retention. So let's get into this one a little bit at our 2-minute mark here. All right, so why is something like martial arts, self-control, something that affects semen retention? Well, let's kind of examine that a little bit. So again, as we talk about all these types of philosophies, what we're really talking about, whether you're talking about the Bible, whether you're talking about the Quran, whether you're talking about Taoism, Sufism, Brahmacharya, what we're really talking about is the idea of trying to get a hold and control the self. At least in my opinion. The self is the key here. And when we talk about the self, we're talking about not letting the flesh dominate the spirit. And as you get into more of your life, especially a lot of you younger warriors, you'll understand this a little bit more, where the physical after a while becomes easily obtained in some ways, whether it's finances, whether it's men, women, whatever you're interested in. If you're a woman, obviously the men, and if you're a man, a woman, all those types of things that you've experienced, you realize that all of that is only a material outside illusion. Yes, we need obviously those type of things to live, but really in the long run, those things don't get you the inside gratification and pleasure. And that comes from the spirit. And at some point, we all recognize, most of us at least do, if we're in tune with our God, we realize that this world really is spiritual. You know, yes, we see the flesh, we see people, and we see the manifestation of the body outside. But really what we're seeing is the spirit. And the spirit is what keeps people going. And you look at a lot of people who live a long time, their spirit is strong. And once again, as we learned from our immortal man, talking about sexual vitality, obviously as a person is vital and sexual, and they have great circulation, all those things happen, their energy is strong, the chakras are strong, they live a long time. And those who dissipate their sexual energy for lots of reasons, or maybe they have issues with their circulation, maybe they overeat, all these type of things creates a lot of stress, and they end up having trouble, illnesses, things like that. And so when you look at the martial arts and you look at a lot of the things, taekwondo, all these type of things we put together, they all come back to the same thing. And those of you who took martial arts, you understand that it all becomes a matter of controlling this body of yours. I think at one time they said it was a living weapon. It's controlling your body so that you use your body in a way to help you. And that's no different than meditation in a way. It's no different than a lot of things that we talk about when it comes to brahmacharya, sophism, celibacy. But it's now a matter of really concentrating on that inner spirit of yours to be able to use that body in a way where you're controlling it. You're not becoming angry. You're becoming effective in the way you use movements and those type of things. And again, this is a great point that Dante talks about in his discussion about martial arts and control. The idea is that you really want to fight that battle from within first. Everything occurring outside of you is secondary. As you get older, a lot of warriors, you'll realize this as well, that the inner battle is really the key battle. Once you're able to get control of yourself, of your body, this is why martial arts, all those self-defense types of things do become important, and you can learn a lot from this because you're learning a lot about yourself. You become a person who is a very strong person because that person becomes in tune with themselves. And yes, obviously it's a matter of self-defense and you can actually defend yourself and all that other stuff becomes very valuable. But what is really more invaluable is the internal growth you have in realizing that this is an internal type of thing. Your body's a tool. And it becomes a tool. But what really happens is you become stronger to your God. You're more in tune. And what better way to do that then is certainly through retention. Because you're keeping your nutrients, you're keeping your spirit, you're connecting more to God. And so all these things that you do you become one with God. And this is a very important type of thing. And so I think Mr. White's analogy here is a very strong one. And talking about how it's important to look at self-control and all those things to control yourself. Anger is not something that a warrior should have. A warrior should be a beast, potential beast, a person who can do anything, is not afraid of anything because they have that internal instinct. And if they need to be angry, need to defend themselves, they need to take it out on someone, they can do that. But it's not a matter of being angry because an angry type warrior becomes emotional. And now you do things that you shouldn't be doing or should have to do. And because of that, then you make mistakes and you do things you really shouldn't be doing. So the idea that you really want to go ahead and think about is the fact is how can I kind of get things done, even if I feel something was wrong, how do I get to the point where I take the emotion out of it? And this is a key type of thing because as you look at the emotion, the strength you have is from within, not from without, outside. And this is why this becomes important. So I think it's a great thing. And I think some of you, if you have not tried the martial arts, if you've not tried to do taekwondo or some of the things that you see out there, I think for the sake of just kind of getting within yourself and connecting with God is a great thing for warriors to know. And certainly there's a lot of benefits with self-defense and the other things that come along with it. But really it's more of a ability to connect with your God, to connect with the world around you and become that person from within, to be able to control your emotions, control your body to the point where it is something you can use if you need to use it. And that's the key. And that's the whole key to a lot of this, is that you are now not just going to burst out and attack people. Whether people have wronged you or not, you're not going to go out and attack people. You're going to be calm. You're going to maybe raise your voice if you need to. But this all goes back to self-control. And we go back to the whole idea is if you can control yourself when it comes to retention, You can control yourself with everything. And I think we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll push on others and discuss other addictions after you stop, with NoFap and things like that. Well, there's a lot of truth to this, that you're really controlling now things from the inside, and that makes it easier than control things outside. If you can control that nature of yours to overeat or to do drugs or to smoke or to drink, and you can overcome those things little by little, whatever it might be, then you become stronger to take on another addiction. And we have a lot of addictions. My addiction is certainly carbohydrates, sugars, and I'm starting to move away from those little by little. But it's not an easy thing. We all have addictions. Fortunately, I don't smoke or drink or do drugs, those type of things, gamble. So I've kind of moved away from a lot of those things over the years, but I still certainly have battles. And certainly the monk mode is a battle for me to make sure we have a long monk mode. Because if you have strong sexual energy, monk mode is not easy. Matter of fact, it's very difficult. Because every time you see something, you're attracted, because you have an unbelievable sense, especially as you keep your semen within you. Those reactions, especially after those 47 years I had of that, is my challenge. But it's getting better. And once again, the NoFap is no problem. Releasing is over 1,000. I think we just hit 50 days, 1,050 days. So that's not the issue in my case. My case is really more of the case of the monk mode, not thinking and keeping it out. And we're getting better. We're approaching 200 days, so we're moving ahead, but there's always temptation, always battles out there. In fact, we had somebody talking about this today. Great quote. I kind of responded back to the warrior, but talking about the fact that in his workplace, the women are like wild animals, and they will be. I saw it again today in the place I'm at. Wild. They're just crazy. They cannot stop because they see the power that you are a man among men because of your journey. And when you see that, and women see that, they can't understand. They don't understand how a person gets like this, because so many men can't control themselves. And they don't have this ability. When they see a man that can do this, boy, they're attracted like flies. It's almost they can't stop staring at you. Or they can't help from touching you or bumping into you. Now, you have to have self-control again in that situation, of course, not to do anything, but it is something you're going to notice. And that's something you got to keep an eye on and keep your battle shield together, as I told our warrior. Keep your battle shield, my friend, because you're going to have this day in and day out. It's going to be common because women biologically cannot resist a strong masculine male. There's so few of them, 1%, as our man from Mexico was saying today as well. There's very few of them out there, and you are one of those. So remember, with that comes the responsibility of staying on your goals, continuing moving ahead, and gaining that self-control within yourself. So that's why we talk about martial arts and control and SR. And obviously, you want to control your behavior. I mean, you're not going to go around screaming and yelling. Now, I say that even though I yell battle on and all these other kind of stuff, but I do it to kind of get us riled up and do it on a purpose. I don't run around all day long doing this kind of stuff, even though it probably is kind of cool to do it. But I don't do that because I focus on the goals and things we need to achieve. If there's a time that we have to yell, then we yell. If there's a time that we don't, most of the time we don't. And that's the key. But again, I love talking to you guys. I love the warriors. And to me, it's always exciting to kind of yell battle on, which I'll do in a second. All right, so anyway, thank you, Diante White. Thank you, my friend. Tomorrow we'll talk about other addictions along with images and the things we're talking about in semen retention. But until tomorrow, my friends, have a good morning. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk later on. 2 things to remember, as always. First, every day is a new day to a great warrior, a great masculine warrior. And number 2, guys, always remember to